Hello everyone, this is Chantel from Peaceful Living NH, previously known as Gluten Free Cooking 123.com. Today we are going to make flatbread, gluten-free flatbread using my sourdough pizza dough. Before I start, I'm going to tell you right off the bat that I'm doubling the recipe. I'm putting in 4.5 cups of brown rice flour. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm feeding the sourdough right now. That's what I'm doing. Yes, before you start, you want to feed your sourdough. And I was a little low on my sourdough starter, so I was giving it a little more than I usually do. And I gave it 2 cups of brown rice flour and half a cup, half a cup, I don't know what I did. I think I gave it half a cup of potato starch, but you guys can find the sourdough recipe on the Peaceful Living NH blog, and I will leave the link for the sourdough starter down in the description box below. And I'm adding 1 cup of water to the sourdough starter, and I think I will later on realize that was a little bit too much water, more than I wanted to add. When you are feeding your sourdough starter, you want to feed it a little bit of water at a time, and make sure that to make sure that you are achieving the proper consistency that you want. I like my sourdough starter to be a little bit thicker than a pancake batter, and this ended up being a little runny, as you will soon see. Now I am adding in the dry ingredients, and I am adding in 4.5 cups of brown rice flour, I'm also adding in 2 tablespoons of psyllium husk. You could interchange that with golden flaxseed powder. I like the consistency of the psyllium husk, that the consistency that it gives to the dough. I also like the flavor that it gives the dough. Also, I'm adding in 4 teaspoons of xanthan gum. I did some updates on the recipe, and I will leave the link for the gluten-free pizza dough down in the description box below. Again, we are using this to make a flatbread, which is similar to the mountain bread, or if you've heard of it, Middle Eastern mountain bread, Lebanese mountain bread, whatever people call it. I think I might have missed this, but I think I did add in the salt. I added in 4 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of sugar, and now I'm adding in the sourdough starter, 2 cups of that. And I'm also adding in 2 cups and 4 tablespoons of water, I think. So with this recipe, when you are making flatbread, you want to add a little less water So instead of the 3 tablespoons water that I suggest to add to the golden flaxseed powder, you want to add maybe 1 tablespoon to directly with the water, or you can even go less depending on how liquidy your sourdough starter is, and I think that's what I did. I also added 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and my little helper here is scooching in to see what's happening and touch everything. And you want to mix the dough first with a spoon, just so that it's easier to kind of incorporate, and then you want to mix it with your hands. You want to make sure that all the ingredients are well incorporated and the dough is uniform in texture and in shape. And I think earlier she was telling me how much she loves the dough, because she ended up tasting it, I think, a little bit because I gave her the spoon. You sort of want to knead it as if you knead a wheat dough, as if you would knead a wheat dough. Then I'm covering it. You can cover it with a plate or a plastic wrap, whatever you want to do, and then you want to set it aside and let it ferment. I put it outside because it was super hot and I thought it would ferment quickly over there. It didn't really ferment that much because I didn't have the time to let it ferment that much. With this dough, you could either let it ferment if you want to for several hours or overnight, or not. You can do whatever you want. I prefer to have it ferment because it tastes better that way, and I prefer to use a well-fed sourdough starter, which means that it has been fed for several hours or overnight, and it has bubbled up and risen, and then I use that to feed my sourdough, pizza dough, or whatever I'm making, bread or whatever it is. But for this pizza dough, I love it to be fermented. It just tastes so much better. And over here I also oiled my hands. I oiled the rolling pin and a little bit on the silicone mat. You want to use a silicone mat because this will stick to most everything else, but it doesn't seem to stick to a silicone mat. I did oil the silicone mat slightly to help with lifting off the bread, and you want to take a good ball of dough. You roll it in your hands. You kind of want to smush it a little bit to get it again to be uniform and into a uniform shape, and then you want to put a little bit of olive oil on top just to help with the rolling, and initially it's going to slip a little bit off of the silicone mat, so you want to be careful on how to roll it, and roll it to as thick or as thin as you want. I prefer it to be a little bit on the thinner side because it makes it easier to roll it into sandwiches or wraps. And then I am grilling it on my cast iron griddle, which is the Blackstone Griddle. I will leave the link for this grill down in the description box below if you guys are interested in having and getting it for yourselves. It's awesome. I really love it. I've been using it for so many things. I've made beef carnitas, I've made pizza, I've made bread, we've grilled on it, we've done everything on it. This thing is really amazing. I love it. And you want to have the bread to slightly brown on both sides. You don't want it to overcook because it will be difficult to wrap. It will harden, and that's not the point of this bread. You want it to be soft and easy to roll. If you let it cook for too long, that's not going to be what you'll get. Also, you want to cook it over medium heat. You can use a cast iron pan also. That would be also great. It's the same thing as this grill over here. And now I'm just cutting up some vegetables, some onions, tomatoes, and cucumbers, just as a demonstration, for how I'm making a wrap with this bread. And also on the side over here I have some wheat flatbread. I'm filming this for our Peaceful Living NH channel. If you guys are not subscribed to that channel yet, go ahead and subscribe. I'll put the link for it down in the description box below as well. I'm putting that video up on the Peaceful Living NH channel, and we are doing a lot of other videos. We have bee videos, we have gardening videos. There's going to be a lot more than that, many different topics, and we're sharing what we love to do with you guys, and what we consider is a peaceful life and healthy, and just we want to share everything that we love with you guys. So if you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, and you'll see a lot more videos over there also. And I'm using here some, I think, roast beef in here, and some mozzarella cheese, and putting in some onions and cucumbers, and that wrap was delicious. The bread was absolutely delicious. It was pretty similar to a wheat texture and to a wheat flavor, and I think that's also because of the psyllium husk and because of the fermentation process. It just helps a lot, and psyllium husk also gives it a little bit of that chewy texture that gluten-free seems to lack, and that's why I love to use psyllium husk in my recipes, even though it does make the bread a little bit on the brown side, and you can see how beautiful that wrap is. It's amazing. You can do with it whatever you want. You can make hummus wraps, whatever. There, I'm taking a bite for you. It's delicious, and this is just, you know, enjoy the peace and the beauty, because the music is beautiful and I didn't want to end it. And these are my beautiful yarrow flowers blowing in the wind, and yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you again next time. Take care.